Sierra Drummond, and this is my amazing friend, Ashley Sawin.
Hello.
She's joining me today in Ariane's stead, and I will have her give you an intro here in a minute on her. But first, we just want to acknowledge the situation and everything that's happening. As most of you know, Ariane is currently stuck in Dubai on the Religious World Tour with David Butler. There's a group of 64 of them that are in a hotel, and they are relatively safe, as safe as one can be in the middle of a war zone. And they are asking for prayers on their behalf for miracles to open up for all the people that are stuck so that they can get home. And they are also asking for anyone who listens to this to please call your state senators and plead with them to help them get an evacuation plan in place so that they can come home, because it's just a scary situation.
Yes.
So
I can't even imagine.
We love her and are praying so much for her. I've got her name and as many of them as I know on the temple prayer rolls. And I also asked her if she wanted me to share anything from her. And she wants you all to know that God loves all of his people all over the world, and that he is in control of all of this. And stay true to your covenants. Stay true to him, and he will make it all well. So we are hopeful and faithful that that situation will open up for them very soon. And then we will get to sit here and talk about the miracles that God provided after. So today we are in Genesis. Genesis, is it
24 is where it starts.
24 through 33, right?
Yes.
It's kind of a long
I know. I'm
segment.
like, we need to slow this down. We're moving too fast through these stories.
I know. I was like, oh, that's a lot of chapters all in one. So, okay. Well, Ashley, why don't you give a little brief intro about yourself?
Okay.
We'll get to know you a little bit.
I am Ashley. I don't know. I don't feel like there's anything too interesting about me. I'm a wife and a mom to 3 boys, so all boy moms. Or you're not. You have girls.
I have mostly
girls.
boys,
yes,
though.
I
So
can't
I
say
feel like
boy
I'm in a
moms
similar
unite,
camp.
And sometimes I whiten teeth, and
Oh, that explains this beautiful smile.
can you see them?
Yes,
They're probably glowing.
sparkly and shiny.
And then I also spend an embarrassingly amount of time studying my scriptures.
It's not embarrassing in this camp. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
People are like, what do you do all day while your kids are at school? And it's like, do I tell them how many hours I spend
Tell them.
studying?
Inspire them.
I don't know.
I love it. I feel like you're living the dream.
Yeah.
I feel like I wish that I had the attention span to just sit and read a book start to finish.
There's a lot of times where I'm just like dozing off and trying to keep reading, but maybe that's why it takes me so long.
Oh boy.
I do love it. I love just digging into it. I love dissecting.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it drives me crazy though, because like the other day it took me like all day to get through like just one chapter, because I'll just like
pick apart the little
pick
details
it apart and I'll look
footnotes.
up like what words and names means in Hebrew, and
I'm the same way.
Yeah, because you get so much more out
constantly-
of the text by doing that.
Yeah.
But then it also makes it
Take forever.
I'm
like, I don't even care anymore, because now my goal, because I've found this way, this is like such an ADD way of reading. This is like what I already do.
Yeah.
Is like, I will just glom onto a certain part of whatever it is I'm studying. And then I will just expand and go down like rabbit holes of different. That's how I learn anyways. So for me, removing that pressure of like, I just have to read it start to finish to do it right.
Yeah.
For me, that's actually more natural to my way of learning. So
Yes.
I actually have more fun doing that, because then it's like a little Easter egg hunt.
Yes, same.
So
and then you find like all the connections between things too, where you're like, whoa.
Yeah, and I feel like, I don't know, learning in that way, I just feel that the Spirit is directing me so much more so than like I'm trying to just check a box and I'm trying to just get through it and then I have to sit and wait for it. It's like, no, I actually feel like I'm partnered with him. Like we're doing teamwork, because he'll be like, push something to the forefront of my mind and I'm like, oh, what's that?
And you can't like move on until you figure out
that thing. My brain like will try to just keep reading and it like
Nope.
It's like it hits up against a wall until I'm like, look up the Hebrew meaning of that word,
Yes.
or look up the footnote, or go to the topical guide and see what else there is there that the Spirit is wanting
Yes.
to show me.
And
So-
thank goodness there's so many people that have already done like so much of the hard
yeah.
work in figuring stuff out, so that it makes it easier for
Oh,
us
yeah.
to
There's
like,
so
dig
many
into.
resources now. It's unbelievable.
Yes,
Like I'm so grateful for that.
me too.
But okay.
One other thing I was going to add in about me is with
Oh,
Ariane.
please
I
do.
used to nanny for her.
Oh,
When-
that's right.
Yes, when it was just her two youngest daughters, and now they're like grown up and married and have like
Oh my gosh.
babies of their own. But yeah,
That
that's
is
a fun
so
little
crazy.
fact.
How
So I've
long
known
did you-
Ariane for a long time.
How long did you nanny for her?
Oh, it was probably a couple years.
Oh my
And then we
gosh.
were getting ready. I was married, so we were getting ready to start our own family. And
That's
yeah.
amazing. I forgot that. She totally did tell me that.
But it
I
was-
just feel like you look so young that I'm like, no, she's not. She
Oh,
couldn't
you're
have
nice.
even. She was like 5 years old when your kids were little.
Well, it's weird how like I'm like, whoa, I knew them when they were just little, and now they're grown up and married, and I feel like
Yeah,
it was just like 5 years ago, but it
I
wasn't.
know. I have this like weird. I'm just stuck in my mind that I'm 20 years old,
Yes.
even though I'm 37 now.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, and I feel like time just goes by of like whatever, like 2 years after you graduate high school, you just feel like it's always that year.
And it's not. And then you're
And
like,
it's
oh,
not.
I'm almost.
But then the
Well,
years are
yeah.
going so fast that you're like, what do I do here? Like,
Yes.
how do I take hold of it? Okay, I'm going to share the link in our stories because I always forget to do that. And then we will dive right into it. Because this week, this Come Follow Me it
There's
actually
so
had me
much.
giggling because I'm like, the family drama.
Yes. It's so
Just-
relatable
so-
in a lot of ways.
I don't know, I just feel like more than ever this year, it was just so impressed upon me that like, this is how people have always been.
Yeah.
Like we have always just
We're
been a
all
mess.
just messed up.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, like God works anyways. God will prevail.
Yes.
The whole
Major theme.
The whole theme. So
And
we can get
it's
going on that.
ironic that Isaac's name is He Laughs because
Because
it's like,
his mom laughed.
yeah, and it's like it's good to keep in mind that even amidst all of the like mess and the hard in life, that we can still find like joy
Right,
and
right. But, like-
still have your ability to like laugh and
Yeah.
enjoy life.
But that
even
God put that
amidst all
into
that.
us for a reason.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like he doesn't just ever do something to do something. It always has purpose.
Yes.
And usually multifaceted purposes. So
Love it.
I love that. So okay, well if you want to start where you feel like you first had your like little aha with the spirit.
It's so hard. I don't know if this was where I first got that aha. But one thing that stuck out to me as I was reading is remembering the context of where this all started. So right before we get into chapter 24, like we just got finished on Mount Moriah, where Isaac was a type and shadow of Christ being sacrificed on
Right.
the altar. And so to keep that in mind, like he is at the center of this covenant story.
Yeah.
And if you forget that aspect of it, nothing really seems to make sense.
Yeah.
So it's so important to keep him and his sacrifice at the center of covenants and this whole storyline of these families.
Yes. Okay, and I want to know from you because I know you do study a lot and I had never heard this until even just a few weeks ago, but that there are people who think that Isaac actually was sacrificed.
Yes.
And that then God restored him and brought him back to
Yes.
life. Do you have
I-
insights on that? Because
I don't
I
know
was
if I
like,
have insights,
what?
but I think that I'm okay with it being either
Yeah,
way. You
that's
know,
kind of how
like
I felt.
I feel like, oh yeah, that would make total sense if he actually had to follow through with it so that
Yeah.
he could be like brought back
Yes.
to life. Not in the same way as Jesus was resurrected, but
Right.
in the sense of, you know,
That God restored.
that God restored him.
Yeah.
And Abraham having to follow through with that and Isaac having to follow through with that.
Right.
So I'm like, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But then it also makes sense to me to the way that it's written.
Yeah.
But it is interesting when you do pull in like other texts because it does make you wonder.
It makes you wonder. It makes you pause.
Yeah.
But there are some people in that camp that I was like, you know what? Either way, God's got it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, either way, he's going to teach me, because I'm like, if he stopped it right before, I can totally see him doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But also in my life, I've been like, oh, he's going to stop this. But then he doesn't.
And he doesn't.
And he lets me actually like fall way further than I thought I was going to.
Yes.
But then there's also a plan for that too.
Yeah. There's always redemption, no matter what.
I love looking at the scriptures that way. In this way that it's like, I don't know, I think I just have such a relationship with him now that I'm like, I'm comfortable saying I don't know.
Yeah.
And I've that's been a fun part of my life to get to, because for so long it was like, I've got to get it right. I need to know exactly what it means.
Yes.
But then now I'm like,
answers.
I'm like, it actually is, it means whatever he needs it to mean right now.
Yes. And either way, it could teach us.
Yeah. And both ways.
Yeah.
It would teach us.
Yes.
Because both ways would teach us something about God. And I don't know, I just think it's so cool watching him. I feel like I'm getting just this year, especially with more like Hebrew context and other resources, I feel like I'm just, I don't know, like in a more like intimate setting with these families.
Yes.
I just feel like I'm getting a new view on them than I ever have before. I don't know what's different.
Yeah. Well, and to us, like, they are our ancestors.
Yeah.
Like, we are a part of their family.
Like we are the promise of these covenants that God made to them back then. So I have felt very like, I don't know, connected and almost like akin to them, because we are.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just been a cool learning for me this year.
It is. And I do feel like my heart has grown like 10 sizes. Is that from
like
the Grinch?
The Grinch.
Like,
I feel the same.
For all of the characters, no matter like who, like Hagar, Sarah, Abraham, like last week, I'm like, no matter who, like, I feel like if we had Sarah and Hagar in the room telling us their side of the story, you wouldn't be able to side with either of them. You would just 100%. You would respect both of them and the decisions they had to make.
Yeah.
And you would love them equally the same. But you just like all of their human like flaws and like all their humanness, you just like fall in love with them in these stories because they're real and you realize it could be like
I know. I feel like when Hagar said, "The God who sees me," I'm like, and I see you now.
Yes.
I feel like I see her maybe for the first time, and I'm like, I think we're so used to making things so black and white, or like this is the hero and this is the villain, and this person was right and this person was wrong, and now I'm like, I don't know, for some reason, this go round.
Yeah.
I'm just feeling the complexity of everybody's experiences and their emotions and just how God reached all of them in all of this mess of pottage, if you will.
Yes. And not feeling like you have to solve it. Because when we were just talking a second ago about, Isaac being sacrificed, like it reminded me of these stories too. Like it doesn't give us a whole lot of details on some of the stories. And we have to be careful not to like assume certain things or like assert our own like meaning onto some of it. But it does kind of like just be like, here you go. Like, here's this story, and I'm going to let you like wrestle with the complexity of it and learn maybe what you need to learn.
Yeah, whatever the Spirit
without solving it
has for you in this, without it having to have just a nice bow tied on it at the end of it. It's like, oh, I can just see God working. Like he has a plan for everything that we come up with.
Yes.
And I don't know. I'm just feeling that empathy for these families this go round.
Yes. Same.
And just.
And it seems like a lot of people that
Yeah.
I discuss this with, whether at church, in church settings, or, hearing it on social media or whatever. It seems like there's a lot of people that are just like, we're becoming more okay with just sitting.
Like we're picking up on the nuance of things now. And I think that that's a really good thing.
Yeah.
Like that we're open to people understanding it differently, because God then takes and uses that for their gain.
Yes.
And that's okay. It's okay if you don't see it exactly how I see it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like it's just, for me, the like beautiful theme weaved throughout all of it is just this covenant relationship with God.
Yeah.
That he's like, I know you guys are going to mess it up. I 100% am sure that you are going to mess it up. But like, I have these promises, and these promises are sure. And you see that moving through this family from Isaac and from Abram and Sarah.
And nothing we can
so
do
cool.
can like thwart
No.
his plan.
Yeah, the last few weeks, this scripture in, I believe it's 2 Nephi 27, but it keeps going through my mind. There's this portion of this verse that says, I, the Lord, am able to do mine own work.
Yes.
And it's like, you can try to, like, you can try to control, and you can try to just like, I don't know, make it all perfect and make it all right in your own head. But at the end of the day, it's because there's people.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mess. And
Yes.
and it's just, this is what the Lord has had to work with. And when we're okay to just watch him work, it's kind of like, sometimes when I'm trying too hard to understand a concept, and I feel like my brain just can't, it's like,
Yeah. I'm like,
trying,
wait,
and
I can't quite
I have this
get
like,
it.
I have this like visual of like trying to hold a handful of sand at the beach. And if you are like squeezing and squeezing this handful, it just falls out of your hands. Like you actually just can't even stop it because it is so tiny and fine, and it just goes everywhere.
Yeah.
But if you just open up your hand and just rest it, you just let that sand sit in your hand,
Mm-hmm.
then it just stays there.
Well, that's a good way to put it.
And I'm like, that's kind of how I feel like my mind works. And now it's like, it's so freeing.
Mm-hmm.
It's so freeing to not try to control how the Lord's teaching me, what he's teaching me. And I just like open this up and I'm like, oh, I'm ready.
Yes.
Just teach me what you want to teach me today.
Yes.
Because I don't have an agenda, and I don't, like, I have just let go of control. And I feel like what's cool is you can see a lot of these people do that
Yes.
in these chapters.
And what they learn, like as you do that for someone else, it's going to look completely different. But
Mhm.
as you like share those stories, you like learn from each other.
Yeah.
And you can see
Yeah.
a bigger picture.
Yeah. And it's like he would give you a little nugget 6 months ago that when you're talking to me, and you
Yeah.
share this with me, and it's like he knew that you would pass that on, and it's so interesting, like seeing that same thread running through all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like he knew the whole time what these people would do, and he was just working back like through the generations.
Yes.
You know, it's kind of like something happens in your life and you can look back to like 6 months ago and be like, oh, this was in the pipeline the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
The whole time. And then you can like remember this little pivotal moment or this one, and it's like, oh my gosh, he is really in the fine details, and
Yes.
he's working. And you know, that's how I'm kind of this whole thing with Ariane. Like I feel like my initial reaction is just a panic that, you know, somebody I love.
I would be if I was there.
Yeah, somebody I love is in like the most dangerous place in the world right
Yeah.
now. In just the heart of it. And that's really scary. But at the same time too, because I know him, because I trust him, I am just like, I can't wait to see what you're going to do here.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how this unfolds.
Yes.
And how it will be used for your good.
Yes. Yes. And it's like, you know, anytime something feels like shocking or coincidental, it's almost like now I have that like little exclamation point above my head that's like, he's doing something.
Yeah.
He's working here.
Like just
You
watch
know?
and see.
Like the day she was supposed to leave, this happened. That day? Really?
Yeah.
That's a low chance of that happening. Like
Yes.
that's crazy. You know, and she wasn't even worried about Dubai. She was worried about India, and there was a virus going around, and everything before she left, we talked about India. But then literally, like they're starting World War III the day she's supposed to come home, and I'm like, I just know him and I know her, and I'm so impressed, and I'm not like shocked at all by her just faith and
Yes.
positivity and trust in the Lord. And it's like so many of these stories, even just in Genesis, it's like that's what happens. It's like these people get put into life and death situations. Granted, that happened a lot more back then
Yeah.
than it does now. That was more normal back then than it is now. But But because these people surrendered and they accepted the covenant relationship with God, he carried them through.
Yeah.
And I love that Ariane and most of that group that are there, they are covenant keeping sons and daughters of God, and he will prevail.
Yeah.
And they know it. And I love
They do
that
know it.
confidence that they're able to have in that really scary situation. So,
Yes.
okay.
Well, and like knowing Ariane, I keep thinking this, I'm like, knowing her, like, I just want to know what she's doing over there. Because I can just, and like, you just think of the group that they're with. Like, they're making, like, they're making it into something
Yes.
good. And that will be,
They
like,
are
a
going to
beautiful,
glorify God with it,
yes.
whatever's happening over there.
Yes.
100%. I love that. I love that. And that's what he does with his covenant children. And that's why he can take anything. Like, hey, your brother hosed you out of your birthright. Hey, your wife and your son lied to you.
Yes.
Hey, like, just all of these insane things that these families are working back then. And I wish I had a better, like, cultural lens to see it and
Yes.
experience it all through. But I also know that, it doesn't matter because I can still look at all this stuff and read all these stories and it still applies to me today, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's like, God's working, because that makes no sense that some story from thousands and thousands of years ago, I'm so far removed from it, but I'm their family.
Yes.
I'm part of this whole covenant. I'm part of this whole grand plan. That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
But I opt in.
Yeah.
I accept.
But then it goes to show, like, God's promises, like,
Yeah.
from thousands of years ago, and here we are today with those same covenants.
Mm-hmm.
And it just goes to show, like, no matter how bad we mess things up,
Yeah.
he ultimately
Yeah.
prevails. And
Yeah. And it is so comforting, like, as a parent, because we're living in this tumultuous time and we know that it's the last days. And it's like, for me, I'm like, it's scary to experience it yourself, but it takes it to a whole nother degree when it's like your children and you're trying to prepare them for this world. And it's like, I am out of my depth.
yes,
But to know that, like, they are part of this story and that they were saved for such a time as this, and just having that, like, covenant confidence.
I've
It's
got
okay.
covenant confidence.
It's all right.
Yes.
So, okay, where should we start with
Okay.
this? I mean, I know we dabbled in it a little bit
I know.
already, but what kind of stuck out to you?
So I really love the bridegroom theme, and although it doesn't, like, explicitly mention it here in chapter 24, it's like it starts to lay out, like, the pattern of the bride, the bridegroom, the father, the servant being symbolic of the Spirit guiding the bride. And, like, there's the betrothal at the well, which, if you notice in scriptures, a well is a place for betrothal.
Yeah.
And that is one thing that stuck out to me, is I'm like, the wells, they contain living water. They're symbolic of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And through my study of, like, the bridegroom and the bride and betrothal, when we partake of the sacrament, the living water, we are renewing those betrothal covenants with Jesus every time we partake of the sacrament.
I love thinking about it that way.
Yes. And
'Cause
so
I'm
I
such a
love,
visual-
same. And so, like, I love that is such a big theme of the well, is
Yeah.
it's tied to betrothals and, like, a love story.
Right.
And he's offering us that, like,
Yeah.
every single week as we partake of the sacrament.
Yeah.
And so that was
those
one of the-
Hebrew, like, marriage traditions are so rich
Yes.
in learning about Christ and what he has for us and how he does it, like that they would send someone to offer, like, for the bride, that this is what the groom has to offer you. And then there's a waiting period, and the groom is preparing a home for her
Yes. It's so
and a
symbolic.
life for her to protect her and provide for her, and that if she's willing to show up, it's all there waiting for her.
Yeah.
And that's what Jesus offers us in that covenant relationship.
Yes.
So I love thinking about the betrothal
I
With
do
the
too.
sacrament. That's awesome.
Yes. And so I'm like, okay, there we have this love story that's starting out.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a love story, which is really fun to think about, but it's also telling another love story, which is about us and Jesus.
Yeah, the parallel.
Yes.
And that's what I love, the part where he says that he loved Rachel. Like,
Yes.
the declaration of like admiration and intimacy, and just like, you can just feel it, like in that scripture that when he's talking about how he loves her.
Loves her.
And I'm like, that is how Christ feels about us. He just
And there
loves
are
us.
scriptures that are paralleling him being the bridegroom, like loving his bride and loving us in that way, and the church in that way, which I love that.
Absolutely.
Another thing with the well that I loved, and I was thinking a lot about, where's my paper, is and I think it's fresh on my mind because in the Inklings this week, it also told the story of the woman at the well who went during the day by herself.
Our favorite story.
Yes, love that story. And then I was thinking a lot about you guys and your podcast name and all of that. But wells were that was the woman's responsibility to go to the well and draw the water for her family, to draw the living water.
Yeah,
and
from
take
source.
Yes.
Because there weren't a lot of wells
pure
around,
source.
right? Like, they are living in harsh climate.
And it would have been hard work to do that. It would have taken so much strength.
Have you ever
to
just
go
like
draw the
you try to
water.
carry 2 gallons of milk into the house?
Yeah.
From your car?
And they would have been,
And I'm like, oh my gosh.
yes. And for them, it would have been even more than that, and the walking distance and all that.
Yeah.
But so we have all of these women who would go to the well of living water, draw the water for their family. And while they were there, they would meet, like, back then, that was like their time where they could go socialize with the other women at the well. And I just love picturing that and the spaces that we create as women where we can like draw strength from each other as we're drawing strength from Jesus. And then we take that back and we nourish our families with it. And that is so powerful to me to think about.
And it's such a responsibility. That's why Ariane and I meet at midday. This is our well. We're trying to converse with each other and just like nourish that spirit, and then go home and bless our family with it.
Yes, and bless others. And so I love, like, that really stuck out to me too with this well. But then as you get going in the story, I started thinking about like Sarah and Rebecca and these these matriarchal mothers who were like, they had authority to protect that covenant line in their family.
Yes.
And I think when we look at it that way, a lot of these stories kind of, you can get, you could look at Rebecca. Maybe I'm jumping too far ahead right now, but
No, you're fine. We do this. We just go back and forth.
You could look at Rebecca as deceiving, Isaac.
Yeah.
And
because he's a blind old man.
Yes, but in the same sense, you're like, if you think about it, she had that dream. Yeah. She knew that it was supposed to be Jacob.
Yes. She was functioning as the Ezer Kenegdo.
Yes.
In that helpmeet.
Yes.
The saving.
And even if she didn't, we don't know. It's hard to say because of our culture, and the text really doesn't offer us a lot of important details that would be so nice to have.
It's like, give me a tad more, because this paints her as a deceitful wife, that she also what kind of mother is oh, don't take that kid. He is no good.
There's something deeper going on, and when you realize that these matriarchal mothers, they bore the responsibility of making sure that those covenant lines stayed where they were supposed to be. And if she was worried about Isaac not either realizing, or I don't know, who knows,
having
what was
confidence
going on there.
That he should be,
yeah,
because at this point he had already had the birthright.
Yes,
from his brother. His brother just willingly gave it up.
He just didn't have the birthright blessing, which is such a big part of it.
Yeah, which is almost like the sealing of it onto you.
Yes. Yeah. And so in her defense, it's like, she was doing, and you saw Sarah do this too when she sent Hagar and Ishmael away.
Yeah.
And it seems so harsh at first, but when you start to understand these deeper layers of protecting the covenant line.
Yeah. And well, they had such, their family structure system was just vital to their survival.
Yes.
Like they had to rely on the Lord for food and water, like all the time. And so to be without that provision was literally the difference between life and death for them and their posterity.
Yes.
You know, so they didn't mess around when it came to marrying outside of the covenant.
Yeah.
You know, and we can look at that now and be like, oh, that's so judgmental and harsh. But it's like, for them, it was a matter of survival. That is how deeply ingrained into their lives God was.
Yes.
Covenant was survival for them.
Yes.
And I'm grateful that they made decisions that, looking back, like, I don't understand. And it seems a little suspicious to me. That's how it had to be done. But we just don't, you know, we take our modern lens and we project it backwards, and we have no idea. We don't have the slightest idea, truly.
Or all the information.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like, look at polygamy. We look back and we just are so appalled because it's be so unacceptable in our day. But when I look at it, like, and I try to look at it with more open eyes, and I want to understand it. I don't like it, but I want to understand it.
Yes.
And God is showing me, even through, like, with Hagar, and then with these, like, we move forward into Leah and Rachel and their handmaids and servants that they gave to their husbands. And I'm like, for some reason, this is a posterity issue.
Yeah.
Like, somehow that is weaved in directly with God working through posterity and covenant promises. And so for me, and Ariane has sat there and told me that she is the result of polygamous marriages.
Yeah.
And I am like, God does everything that he does and allows everything he does for purposes we can't comprehend.
Yes.
So for me, I just go back to that foundation of the nature and character of God.
Yes. Well, and
I can trust him.
And his willingness to work through us as
Yeah.
flawed individuals.
Yes.
Like, I'm sure that was not God's design to have it unfold that way, but he won't interject in our agency.
Yeah.
But he's still able to take what he's working with and still somehow make his promises
Yeah.
fulfilled.
Yeah. Actually, like, I love that. I love that he is, because he's a God of order. He's a God of organization. Like, he's in charge of everything. But he is open enough to willingly let us participate.
Yes.
Like, what does that say about him? You know what I mean? He's just not this, like, harsh dictator God that we like to make him out to be, especially in the Old Testament, when things can seem like, yikes.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, what is he doing here?
Just the fact alone that any of this is even able to happen means that there was so much love that is priority to him, far above us getting it right and doing it just so.
Yes.
Because he protects our agency.
Yes.
So that we can, because it's all for his good. It's all for his gain. Like, we're constantly like, oh, I'm screwing it up. I'm messing it up. Like, you know, like, just always panicked about things going wrong. But you think about him and you think about how he's like, even just allowing all of this to happen, you have to know what a patient, all-knowing, all-loving God he is, because he even let us come here.
Yeah.
You know? I just love what that says about him at all. So, anyways. But I loved reading these, like, family dynamics, and I also love so much how you pointed out the involvement of the mothers throughout. Yes. Because they are pivotal.
They are. And you can see it. We haven't gotten to, like, there's so much coming to, like, Moses' mother and
his sister,
like,
Miriam.
Yeah, like, just throughout all of Scripture, like, be ready to watch what the mothers do.
Because, yeah, literally.
Yeah, because they are so concerned with keeping the covenant line.
Yeah. Like, people can sit here and talk about this, like, patriarchal order, and they make it just about the men because of the world's counterfeit system of men in power. But God's patriarchal order is that there are men with their equal counterpart
Yes.
that kind of,
Yeah.
like, we're just kind of like, oh, keep it in bounds. Oh,
Yep.
keep it in bounds. We're going to go this way.
Yes.
You know what I
You
mean?
get a
That,
little
like
off
that old
track.
saying that, like, the man is the head, but the woman is the neck. I'm pretty sure I just quoted my Big Fat Greek Wedding. But you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because of the well analogy
Yes.
about women being naturally intuitive and naturally connected to that source.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that, like, men aren't. I just think that this is a natural inclination that God gave us.
Yes.
And that is why God gave us to our husbands.
Yes.
Because it's not good that men should be alone, right? Heaven only knows what would have happened. But I love this, just kind of like the women are just like auto-correcting as we
Yes.
go. Like, let's just
Even
keep
if they do it
keep
through
it in mind.
sometimes means that are seen,
sneaky.
yeah, flawed or whatever,
Yeah.
the fact that Rebecca, I always want to call Rebecca Rachel and Rachel.
I know.
and same with
I'm
Isaac
always
and
like,
Jacob.
ooh, which one?
The fact that the Lord told Rebecca like when the twins were in her womb, like,
Mhm. Two nations.
yes, he didn't, well, not that the text says, at least, that he didn't tell Isaac that. He gave that vision to Rebecca
Yeah.
for a reason.
Yeah. Because she could feel it. It
Yeah.
was existing within her.
Yes.
You know, and she would probably struggle with that for the rest of her days. That her, you know, her two sons were kind of pitted against each other. Like, as a mother, how do you deal with that? Like,
Yeah.
But God reassuring her in the very beginning
Yes.
that He would make it for their good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, He's just the best.
He is. And then sometimes I feel like it's a good lesson on, like, what can happen when we try to take matters into our own hand without involving God in
Yeah.
the full process, because we tend to make a mess out of things when we try to take it on upon ourselves without
Yeah.
without including Him in
Yeah.
that process. Sometimes we rely on our own,
Yeah.
like, strength and
And
what we've been
100%
given.
of the time, we just realize, oh, shoot, I actually
Yes,
need you.
I should have. And there were consequences for Jacob for, going along with that. He had to flee and leave
Yeah.
and work really hard for the next 21 years
Yeah.
before he could
Yeah.
go back to his covenant land,
Right,
know?
right.
But God still worked that for his
And
good.
before he goes back to that covenant land, he has this initiatory experience
Yes.
with God, where they do the wrestle.
Yes.
And we were talking about that before we started, that actually somebody explained it differently in one of Ariane's Institute classes, and it totally redirected my view of this entire situation, but also so many of my own situations where Jacob is wrestling with God.
Mm-hmm.
And this person was like, oh, so many times we hear that and we think that, like, he's like fighting against God and God's fighting against him, and no, it says that he wrestled with him. And it's like, whatever this problem was, whatever this fear was that he had about where they were going to go or where they were going to end up or facing his brother, these are things that he wrestled with God on his team. They wrestled the thing together. And I love that idea of, because I do feel like I spent so much of my life like begging God as if he was against me.
Mm-hmm.
As if what was happening was something that he was inflicting upon me versus fighting with me.
Yeah.
And to just imagine that, like, oh, we're actually on the same team working on this little project together, then I don't feel like I have to, like, be like, oh my gosh, please make it stop. Like, will you just, but in having him on your team, that's what covenant relationship is.
Yes.
And that's what Jacob was going through.
And it makes all the difference when you finally start to trust him, that
Yeah.
he's like there, like how he says in Bethel, before he named it Bethel, where he dreams about the ladder, like that. So he just took the birthright, he flees, he's on his way, he's like, how he lays down on, like, the hard
The
stones
rocks.
for his pillow.
Yeah.
It's like so symbolic of, like, he's hitting a hard point in life, and he's probably realizing that maybe he went about things the wrong way, and now he's having to like flee from that.
Yeah.
And then he has like this initiatory or endowment experience with God, and then he says like, surely God is within this place, and I knew it not. And I feel like, at least for me, in a lot of my like trials in life, something hard starts happen, and it's when I finally realize like, oh, God is in this trial with me.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know it, but as you look back, you can see like him, how he has like helped you in the little ways that has sustained you through those hard things, and you're like, I didn't even know it, and he's been here helping me the whole time. And so I love that scripture. And then he names it Bethel because it's the house of God, and I don't know,
God
so much symbolism there.
I love that. And it's like he was always there. He's always everywhere, but until we are aware of it, like he just can't work with us in the same way.
Yes.
And something really, like, maybe a little bit of a tangent, because you and I have had similar trials with our health.
Yes.
For me, I spent 12 years, and I mean, there are still things that I continuously struggle with, but I spent 12 years, I call it in hell, of just this feeling like God abandoned me, feeling like, why do I do the things that I do and follow him if he's not going to bless me in this place? And you really can't when you're in the thick of that. Like, there are just so many times where I just actually begged to die. I didn't want to keep going. You know, I was like a year-ish in to really struggling with my body. And I had heard some talk given by, I think it was an apostle, maybe it was a general authority, but he was talking about how his daughter struggled with her health for 4 years. And I was a year in, and I told my husband, I was like, if somebody told me I had to go 3 more years, like, I would kill myself right now. I cannot go another 3 years. And then I went for 11 more, you know, because there were little pivotal things. Like, I remember at one point, and I would just get to this low where I was like, I'm done. I am done with you because you are not helping me. And something little would happen, and I would end up in my scriptures. And, you know, the first time I feel like I really remember it was the story of Naaman. And if you would go wash in the river Jordan, but he was just too prideful to go do that. Mm-hmm. And then his servant was like, if the Lord had bid you do some great thing, like, you would do it, but he asked you to do something little. And at that point, like, God asked me to do, you know, something that didn't really make a whole lot of sense in my health, but I was like, whatever, I'll do it, you know? And then there were times truly where he did not show up. He did not show up in the ways that I could see him. I can't wait to watch the movie back when I get there. And I'll be like, that was you? Oh my gosh. You know, but those times were the hardest times, because you think you're going to get that miracle. You think you're going to get that answer. You think he's going to show up in this place. And he doesn't. But I now know him enough to know that I am going to look back and I am going to see. But I feel like maybe the most pivotal moment for me, and this kind of ties in with something you're doing now, is it was just so bad. I couldn't take care of myself. I couldn't walk a lot of the time, and I couldn't take care of my kids, and I couldn't do anything to be a wife. And I was just like, oh, why am I down here? Why do you have me down here? If you're not going to let me do what you sent me here to do, take me out. Take me off the team, coach. Yeah. You know? And I just got so mad. I was just suffering so deeply, just mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. Every way that a human can suffer, I was suffering. And I remember walking upstairs into my bedroom and just like falling on my face on the floor and just crying out to him in anger. You know, like, it was like one of those curse God and die moments. Yeah. But unfortunately, I didn't die. So I just had to find a way to be mad at him, you know. And and then I feel like Satan just came in full force and just punched my anger to a new level. And I was like, that's it. I'm done. I'm done. I have lived this covenant relationship with you, and it does me no good. I literally like picked up my scriptures and set them across the room for me. And I can very vividly remember hearing in my mind, you need to take off those garments. Take them off. They don't do you any good. Just over and over to take them off. And all the things that I was going to do, like the plan just unfolded in my mind, how I was going to show him. And I was done. But I was just so worked up. And I remember, like, it really, you know, like when you look back, you're like, oh my gosh, Satan was just like in my head so bad. You know, I was picturing where my gun was. I was picturing how I was just going to show God that I was done. Truly show him that I was done. Because I tried so many things for so many years and so many times. And I kept my faith and it didn't ever matter. None of it mattered. And I needed something dramatic enough to happen that something would change. And then I remember I just got to this point where I was so overwhelmed by all of it that I was like, I just need to clear out the tabs in my brain. And I picked up my phone and I tried just like numbing out and like blurring it all and watching TV or something, but I couldn't. My mind was just too full. And so I think just symbolically, I just started closing out of everything. And I'm one of those people that has like 150 tabs open on my phone at all times.
Oh, same. I have 98, and it's only because it lets me get to 99, and then it's like, I'm going to start reading tabs.
Mine keeps going.
That's lucky.
And so I just start just furiously just like moving all these tabs out and away. I don't care about anything. I'm doing nothing ever again because I always will save them for later. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, I'm done with everything. And I get to the very last one. And it's this talk by Patricia Holland that I had saved a year before when we were traveling in our RV with our kids. And we kind of did this like ward hopping wherever we were going. And I was in this Relief Society lesson, and somebody had mentioned this talk by Sister Holland that was just life-changing for her. And I had kept it up for this year. I hadn't read it, but I had kept it up, and when I would clean out my cache, I would be like, oh, I need to keep that up so I can read it. I can't tell you how many times that thing survived the cut, but also I never got around to it. And I was just about to close out of it because I was also done with even trying. I'm not going to read one more thing, but something in me, just before I let it go, I needed to read it. And the title of the talk is One Thing Needful. Mm. And that is the name of Ashley's Instagram, where she shares the gospel. And I've been waiting to tell her this story because we have such fun, similar trial. And I read through that. And you know this drill where all the doctors would tell me all my tests were fine and everything's great. And I'm like, great, I'm 28 years old and I can't walk across the room, but sure, your tests.
Everything's fine.
And I was just so tired of not having even just something to hold on to. And in the middle of this talk, this beautiful talk, by the way, everybody should just go read it. I love her. She starts talking about the stress that women go through. And I have it pulled up here. I'm going to read you this little part that changed my whole life. So, she says, too many of us are struggling and suffering. Too many are running faster than they have strength, expecting too much of themselves. As a result, we are experiencing new and undiagnosed stress-related illnesses. The Epstein-Barr virus, for one, has come into our popular medical jargon as the malady of the 1980s. And then she goes on to describe this virus and what it feels like. Low-grade fevers, aching joints, sore throat. We don't have the flu. We're exhausted, weak, debilitated, but you don't have AIDS. Often confused and forgetful, but it isn't Alzheimer's. Many patients feel suicidal, but it isn't clinical depression. And female victims outnumber males 3-1. And a great many are intelligent high achievers with stressful lives.
Wow.
Have you ever heard anyone in a talk ever just randomly drop in this little side note of a disease and they describe it? The way that God reached down for me And I knew with every fiber of my being that he was telling me what was happening in my body when nobody else could. Through this talk that was given in 1987, the year before I was born. Because in this year, in I think it was 2019, 2020, that here's my little,
You would need it.
here's my little, my little lighthouse, my little moment where he reached down because he knew that I would fail then. But he had Pat Holland back in the 80s.
Your Hagar moment at the well.
Yes, my Hagar. God saw me. So this title of this talk, One Thing Needful, just brings me back. It's become an anchor point in my life when I start to doubt that he is going to find me or he is going to show up. And I'm like, I have evidence that he does show up. And he is the one thing needful. And that's what these people in the scriptures, they also had their one thing needful moments that happened that brought them through in their covenant relationship. And so I just love when you named your Instagram that. I was like, oh, he's just teaching all of us. He's just reaching all of us with this same messages in different ways.
I love it. It's I just wanted to hug you when you were telling your story, and then I was also trying to hold back the tears. And it's just, it's so relatable, and probably to a lot of people can relate to that feeling of just hopelessness.
Yeah.
And that despair, and that just wanting to just give up whatever it is that you're struggling through.
Yeah. And I feel like that's what Jacob was doing.
Yeah.
In that wrestle with God, you think that it won't get to this extreme point, and you think you won't get hurt, right? But he limped the rest of his life because of this,
I wrote in I need to get scriptures like that. Cause
you're fine. I just got these. They're so fun.
I have my scriptures at home, but this just, I don't know. I can't write all the things that I want to write. Yeah. But, where is it? Where he's wrestling with God. And I wrote a note.
I think I'm a little further.
Let's see, right here. Where it says, and it's not gonna, I did this earlier where I didn't want to pull up my note that I had by it. I'll go back into it.
You're fine. It's in 32. You found your note.
I found the thing, but it did this to me earlier when I was trying to find a note. It removed it, and then it came back later. I'm like, where's my note? I know that I put it here by these scriptures.
I'm sure that Satan is in charge of technology at this point because.
But when it says that
efforts.
When he saw that the angel, or it calls him an angel, but then he also says he saw the Lord face to face. So
yeah. So we assume.
Yeah. And when the Lord or the angel saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. Mm-hmm. And I was just thinking, Jacob wouldn't come out of this wrestle the same person he was before he walked into it. He walked out with a limp.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so fascinating because I'm like, okay, you have all of these New Testament stories where Christ heals people by healing their physical wounds.
Yeah.
In this story with Jacob,
he leaves him with one.
He heals him by leaving him with one.
Yeah.
And it was so I don't know, that hit home to me because there's been a lot of times in my life when I get weird when I start to
It's not weird. You get human. You're a human. You're fine.
There's been a lot of my times in my life when God has given me the miracle, when he has provided that for me.
Yeah. And that feels so good.
And it feels so good. And it's good to have those moments. Mm-hmm. But with my health challenges, he hasn't healed me physically. Yeah. But because of those physical wounds that I feel like I've been healed spiritually.
Yeah.
And so I love this because Jacob was healed spiritually by having a physical wound.
Right.
And I relate to that. Like,
Yeah. And
my physical wounds have, even though I don't believe God, like, just gives it, it's just a natural part of life sometimes to have health issues or any struggle. But he can heal us spiritually with, even if
I
those
love
physical
that.
wounds aren't
Because you
healed.
can look at that and you can say like, oh, God left him weaker. But the truth is that through that experience with God, everything about him was stronger.
Yeah.
He left there with a new name.
Yes.
He left there with his new name of Israel.
Transformed.
A whole new person. And that really is, I do feel like, yes, we can go to the temple and we can go through the initiatory and we can go through the endowment and receive all of those gifts. But I can look at my life and I can see when I was initiated. And I can see when I began to accept that actual endowment. Like that is so symbolic what we do there. But God has like a custom and individualized initiatory for each one of us.
Yes.
And an endowment, custom and specialized endowment for each of us. And when we accept it, it doesn't always look the way that we think it's going to look, and it can hurt.
Yeah.
And it can be just excruciating and brutal. But because of the experience, we're changed. We're new, we're better, we're stronger because we have entered into that covenant relationship with him and had that experience with him that hurt so much, but that he got us through.
Yes.
And there were things that happened in ways that only he could bring to pass.
Yeah. And you see that with Jacob in this. Like, first it's Abraham that blesses him, first by deceit. And then before he leaves to go to Laban's house, Isaac is able to bless him without any of that, a pure blessing.
Yeah.
And then you see God, when he gets to Bethel, like reaffirm that himself, that same blessing in the Abrahamic covenant.
Yeah.
And then you keep seeing God, like you keep seeing the same pattern where there's like those moments where he keeps like the covenant ladder that he saw in his dream. Yeah. He keeps moving closer and closer to God until he finally just surrenders.
Yeah.
And just like it's those moments for him.
Yeah.
And when I was studying all this about like the wound, the physical wound, I came across this really cool quote. I'll hurry and read it. It says, a Christian might find in this passage a God who wounds us only because he too was first wounded. Mercifully, the heel-grabbing Jacob does not have his head crushed. Rather, he encounters the God/man, since God angel, who graciously leaves him with a limp. But this wrestling match typifies the greater struggle to come when the God-man, the offspring of the woman, will finally crush the heel-biting serpent's head, but only through his own bruising. As Augustine puts it, Christ was overcome at his crucifixion, yet precisely when he was overcome, he overcame for us. Because when he suffered, he shed the blood with which he redeemed us with. Thus, as Jacob demanded a blessing from the one he overcame, so in Christ we see a grand and splendid mystery. Overcome, he blesses. The God who wounds in order to save does so only because he too was also wounded.
That's so beautiful.
Isn't it? I love that
because
so much.
you think about Christ on the cross and it's like, because he looked up in that depth, that's like that pivotal moment where you're like, I have nothing left to give. I've given all that I could. I surrender it all to you. That's when you have that almost just like that consuming experience. And it's a painful road to get to that point, but it's like, I can look back and I can see that in that deepest pain, that's where I was changed. That's where I got the evidence that I needed. That's where he provided that endowment of knowledge onto me that he is there and he will show up. It's usually not going to look like how we think it's going to, but that he will. And I was reading in this God Will Prevail book by Carrie Muhlstein.
Oh, I love him.
And he talks about God's covenant people receive all manner of protection. This is not to say that as a people or as individuals, covenant holders will never suffer the sting of adversity or sorrow, or the overwhelming pain and constant pinpricks that often accompany a fallen world. Those things will surely come. But just as surely, on the whole, God will protect his people. That protection can be, and sometimes has been, physical protection from dangerous people and circumstances. It may be that God shields us from various emotional or physical plagues, or perhaps from the fiery darts of the adversary and the pointing fingers of those in the great and spacious building. Ironically, we will never know all that God has protected us from, for the protection often causes us to so fully miss the danger that we are happily but blithely unaware of and unharmed by it. At times we will not be protected from some of those things, but instead God will be our shield in a way that allows us to not experience eternal, lasting harm. God knows how to best shelter us. We can be sure that his protecting hand will be over us in the way that leads us to our greatest long-term good. Undoubtedly, he will prevail. And that last sentence where, like, his protecting hand will be over us in the way that leads to our greatest long-term good. I'm like, that's like another anchor point for my brain.
Yes.
Is that my timeline is not his timeline. Like, he will prevail. He is able to do his own work. And he shows it to us with these stories. And how, and what's cool for us is these guys didn't have the convenience or the added evidence of what we have looking back and seeing what God has done throughout history. They were just in it, in the thick of it. And I so admire them and their devotion to his will, even though it was extremely messy.
Yes. I love that.
So, okay, what time is it? How long have we been doing this for?
1:11. Goes by fast.
Well, I told you. Okay.
I love that because I really do feel strongly that suffering is like holy ground.
Oh, it's Prevail.
Yeah, because though that is when I feel like God can do his deepest work in us and transform us. And I love that this story, I'm like, it's so interesting to me that Jacob started out with the name Jacob. And I love the meaning behind names in scriptures because they tell like
most
such
of
a
the
big story. Yeah.
Literally, if you even just had the names.
Or the names of places.
Yes.
And so at first I'm like, Jacob, he's a hill grabber and a supplanter. I'm like, but yet like we know he becomes Israel. So like it was almost like a little bit of a disappointment at first. Like, wait, he's supposed to be
he's like a taker
great and all of this. But as the story unfolds, well, and it's interesting because the word hill grabber, I was like, took me back to Eden and how the serpent, he's a little cunning. And he, right?
About that.
Yes. Same Hebrew word.
Oh my gosh.
And
fascinating.
So it's like Satan's the hill grabber. He's that sneaky little serpent, and not that I think that Jacob was this sneaky, we know from the description that gives him, he was a plain or like he was a good
but he
guy
still
that
had
really
the natural
valued,
man.
Yes, he really valued covenant.
Yeah.
Like from the beginning. And Esau didn't. He despised it and he took it lightly and he didn't care about sacred things. And Jacob did. But he's human.
Yeah.
And so I love like the beginning, seeing Jacob as the supplanter, the hill grabber, to the end of these chapters where he finally, like at the end of the wrestle, it's like the Lord asked him like, what is your name? And obviously he knows Jacob's name.
Yeah.
there's some temple symbolism in
It's
there.
kind of like, where are you, Adam?
Yeah.
Like, God knows all
Yeah.
these things, but
And
he needs us to
asking
know them.
for your name, you know, like
Yeah.
he knows it. He wants you to confess it and say it. And so
Yeah.
it's like when he says, "What is thy name?" And Jacob said, "It's Jacob." It's like that's that moment when Jacob's like,
This is who I am.
I am Jacob, like here I am, like, but I want this blessing and I am not going to let you leave until, like, I'm clinging to this blessing. And you just see he went from deceiving to get the blessing to clinging to get the blessing, and this like
but
shift
also
that
almost
has
in
happened
that
in him.
like what is your name? It's Jacob. Like, it's almost like he's like displaying his humanness. Like,
Yeah.
I'm the supplanter. Like,
Yes,
I admit
I'm
it.
him.
I am
and I
that
don't want
person.
to be him anymore.
Yeah.
And then he's right after that. He said, "Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and hast prevailed." And then he gets his new name.
Yeah.
And it's so symbolic of us. And we receive a new name. But more importantly, that is symbolic of us receiving Christ, the bridegroom, and taking his name upon us.
Yeah.
And betrothing ourselves to him. And
I love that.
I don't know, that's the bow at the end of it, I feel like, that you're waiting for.
Yeah.
And then it goes on to say how in 33 after, and that's another whole part of the story that's so beautiful, where he meets with Esau and there's forgiveness and hugs and like.
And he was so
all of
afraid
this.
to come back to his family and what they might think of him or what they might do to him.
Yeah.
But that it was just this beautiful reunion.
Yes.
Like,
And
we
I love
always,
it.
well, like, it's so funny, like, this guy, even after this experience with God, he still is just a human who's, like, worried about stuff. He just got this new name that literally means God will prevail. And he's still nervous. And I'm like, oh, well,
Yeah.
it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. God knows it. And,
Yeah.
and he knows it, and it's okay.
And then I'm sad that we don't get to like see this, like the transformation in Esau in this.
I know.
To go from like his bitterness and wanting to kill his brother to like running to him and forgiving him. And it gives you like
something happened with him too. He
Yeah.
had an experience
And
with God too.
And it's giving off like prodigal son vibes a little bit, where he's like running to him and falls at his feet and kisses him and forgives him. And I love that. But at the end of all that, it says, "And Jacob came to Shalem." And as I was looking at, I was like, oh, duh. Shalom. It's peace. And I love that it ends with like Jacob at this place of like peace and wholeness. And then he says, and this whole time, Jacob has been calling God the God of my father, the God of my father, Abraham and Isaac. And at the end of chapter 33 on verse 20, it says, "And he erected there an altar and called it," I don't even dare pronounce it, El Elohi Israel.
Yeah, that's how I would say it.
And the meaning of that is God is the God of Israel. And he's finally saying,
he's my God.
You are my God. You're not just this like distant God of like that I've been trying to find, and you're not just the God of my dad and his father. You are my God.
Yeah.
And I just love how that ends. I'm like, oh,
I do too. And I love
this
like,
one does end with a bow.
It really does.
And the story's not finished, but at least for this section, I'm like, oh, it just
what a
like
beautiful
full
ending.
circle of just what happens when you do just let God prevail in your life and stop just trying to take matters into your own hands and do it on your own.
Yeah.
And it's like this struggle and this tension this whole time
Yeah.
until the very end. And he's finally like at peace and just can fully give himself to God.
Yeah. And when you realize too that it's not just Heavenly Father that your parents know or that your grandparents knew, that this like ladder from heaven, like everybody has their own individual ladder to him.
Yeah.
And he didn't just talk to these people back then. Like, he didn't just covenant with these people back then. He didn't just show up and wrestle with them. He will do it with us. He's the God of Tierra. He's the God of Ashley.
Yes.
Like, he's just the relational God. And I feel like that's been something that that I had to learn through everything I went through my my wrestle with him, is that he was for me and that he will prevail. And all I have to do to prosper in the land is be aligned with his will.
Yeah.
And that way is so much easier than the way that I was living before. Because I really do feel like so much of the suffering that I went through was in thinking that my life was wrong, that my experiences were wrong, that they were bad, that it wasn't, this is not how it's supposed to be. And I just spent so much of my energy fighting against what was happening to me. And then once just I had these experiences, these encounters with him that communicated to me that he saw me, that I had a ladder that I could get up to get to him, and he would come down it to me.
Yeah.
And just this idea of being the woman at the well. Like I had to own my identity as Tiara, like Jacob had to own his identity as Jacob. Like, this is me. This is how I am. This is all these broken pieces. And something else that kind of helped in that healing for me was, and I don't even remember when or how it got brought to me, but the Japanese kintsukuroi, the art of the pottery there.
Oh.
Have you heard this?
I don't think so.
I bet you have. But he brought me this idea. Somebody was talking about it, how in Japan, that when their pottery breaks,
Oh, maybe I have.
that they then put it back together with gold filling.
Oh.
And this idea...
Was this a talk?
It has to have been in a talk by now, but this was years and years
Okay.
ago that this was part of my healing process, was the spirit teaching me through kintsukuroi, which means more beautiful for having been broken.
Oh, I love that.
Because if I hadn't been broken, there wasn't room for Jesus to come in and put all these little gold fillings of his light in my cracks, you know?
Yeah.
Like in all the places where I was split open, because that's what made room for him in me, was this suffering that nobody else understood, that nobody else could comfort me in but him. And so for me, I don't know, just that whole concept that he did this. You can see him do this with all of these people in their worries and their stresses. And it all boils down to this one thing needful,
Yeah.
right? And it's just him.
It's just him. It reminds me, I was thinking about the quote from The Chosen. It's like one of my all-time favorite quotes. Not just from the show, but just in general.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that a lot through this, is when, I can't remember, it was probably one of the first or second seasons, but Mary, she says, I was one way and now I'm completely different, and the only thing that happened in between was him.
Yeah.
And I just think about that with the name change of like Jacob to Israel. He was one way and now he's completely different.
Yeah.
And the only thing that made that possible
Yeah.
was Jesus.
Yeah. He's the common denominator.
Yes.
In every story of being born again, of being new, of being saved and brought into that light. I love that show so
I do too.
much. So much.
I do too.
That was
There's
also
so
such
many
a-
good just one-liners, but that one has always stuck out
yes.
to me because
It's
I can
so
relate to
powerful.
that.
It's so true.
So much, yeah.
It's so true. And that's kind of the whole point.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. It was the whole point for them. It's the whole point for us, is that when we involve him, when we stay in covenant, there is a peace that you can't explain it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, for me, I'm like, well, nothing's way different for me now than it was back then from just looking an outside lens. But it's like, I am different because
But yeah,
he's
everything
there.
has really changed.
Because he's like in my very bones. He's
Yeah.
deeply ingrained into me. And I don't know, I just don't have to worry in the same way. And I know that this is, I can't wait to hear what Ariane is experiencing and how he's carrying her through this experience. But it's just like, I don't know. And especially lately, I just keep getting this teaching from the Spirit that God will prevail.
Yeah.
and he's in charge, and he will do his own work. And I just need to sit back and be grateful to be any part of it.
To make beauty from our ashes.
Yeah, if we let him.
If we let him, yeah.
If we let him, if we're willing to wrestle with him. Because,
Yeah.
you know, there have been times in my life where I just wasn't willing to wrestle. I wasn't willing to let him in, and I'm very grateful for those trials that broke me wide open, that changed me. You know, like when you're in the thick of it, there would be people who'd be like, oh, someday you're going to look back and you're going to just know that this was all for your good. And you're like, oh, punch you in the throat right now.
Yeah.
But it really is true. So, you know, to anybody who is in the midst of their wrestle, like, there is hope and healing, and there's only one source that is true and lasting, right? The living water.
Yeah.
It's Jesus Christ. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Fun.
I love your testimony. I love your story.
Same.
I love that you're so much like me, where it's like I can't learn enough.
Yeah, I know.
Like I don't have the brain power or the time.
And it feels exhausting sometimes,
Yes.
doesn't it? But then, yet it's also just so like nourishing and life-giving, and you just want more and more.
I'm just
and
always
more.
back for more, like an addict.
Yes, but I think that's really feasting.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm feasting,
Yeah.
and then I get full, and I'm like, okay, I'm back for more.
Yeah. I love it. Okay, well, thank you all so much for joining us today. Please remember to keep praying for Ariane and her group, and